No. Get out. Get out. I revoke my invitation.
Sleep like the dead, teacher.
No.
Boogeyman band coming round the bend. Is Boogeyman band. Is Boogeyman band.
Tribute. Greetings, my fellow Fright Fiends, and thanks so much for dropping by the Horror Zone channel. I hope everyone's doing well. Today's video is part 11 of my quiet little tribute of Salem's Lot series. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to watch this video. I had hoped to get a few more of these done this year, but due to the fact that I got really sick a couple weeks ago and are still coming down from this, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get them all in, but I wanted to make sure I got one more in before the end of 2023, but we'll see how it goes. Today's episode is going to be focusing on Lew Ayres, who played, of course, teacher Jason Burke in the film. Changed from Matt Burke in the book. Lew Ayres' portrayal of Jason Burke has always been one of my favorites. He was one that I really identified with as a kid, just because outside of Mark, Jason's the only other one that is trying to convince people that this threat to the town of Salem's Lot is real. Mark and Jason are the ones that know that there's something going on, and nobody wants to listen to them. So I think that's why Mark was so important to me, played by the late Lance Kerwin, and why Jason Burke was so important to me. You know, he's trying to convince Ben, he's trying to convince Bill Norton of what's going on, and people just think he's, you know, it's like Ben says, you know, funny old duck living alone on Taggart Stream Road. Lew Ayres definitely contributed to my love of this film. He's one of the most important characters in the film. And it was really interesting to dive into his history of, you know, how his career started. And while I will talk about some specifics relating to his performance that I got out of Tony Earnshaw's book, I'm first going to go into the history of his career, and then I will interject this interview that Toby Hooper gave that's part of that book that talks about just directing Lew Ayres in the part of Jason Burke. So I hope everyone enjoys this, and here we go. Louis Frederick Ayres III was born on December 28, 1908. He was an American actor whose film and television career spanned 65 years. He is best known for starring as a German soldier, Paul Baumer, in the film All Quiet on the Western Front from 1930, and for playing Dr. Kildare in 9 films. He was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actor for his performance in Johnny Belinda in 1948. Ayres was born in Minneapolis to Irma Bevernick and Louis Ayres, who divorced when he was 4. Louis, an amateur musician and court reporter, remarried soon after. As a teen, he and his mother moved with his stepfather, William Gilmore, and half-brother and sister to San Diego, California. Leaving high school before graduating, he started a small band which traveled to Mexico. He returned months later to pursue an acting career, but continued working full-time as a musician. He played the banjo, guitar for big bands, including the Henry Halstead Orchestra. He recorded one of his earliest videophone movie shorts called Carnival Night in Paris for Warner Brothers in 1927. Ayres wrote, "I was a member of Henry Halstead's orchestra in 1927 at the Mission Beach Ballroom in San Diego, California for the summer. My instruments were tenor, banjo, long neck banjo, and guitar. After a hiatus, I rejoined Mr. Halstead with a new group, including Phil Harris, on New Year's Eve the same year for the opening night of the Beverly Wilshire Hotel, a memorable occasion." He left a national tour to pursue a career as a full-time actor. Ayres was discovered at a nightclub by talent agent Ivan Kahn, he was cast to play opposite Greta Garbo in The Kiss, but it was his leading role in the original version of All Quiet on the Western Front from 1930 that made him a star, secured him a contract with Universal, and made him a conscientious objector to World War II. He made a number of mostly forgotten B-movies for Universal, with the exception of Iron Man from 1931 with Jean Harlow. His most successful movies at the time were those he made on loan to other studios, including Doorway to Hell from 1930 with James Cagney in a supporting role, and Janet Gaynor's leading man in both Starfare from 1933 and Servant's Entrance from 1934, which featured a combination of live action and Walt Disney animation in a musical dream sequence, both for Fox Films. Ayres left Universal to sign with Fox Films. In 1934, Fox listed him as one of the second-tier stars. He moved to Poverty Row Studio Republic Pictures to pursue a second career as a director, including the film Hearts in Bondage from 1936, starring James Dunn and Mae Clark. He moved to Paramount Pictures before finally being signed to MGM in 1938. At this time, he was loaned from Paramount to play the role of Ned in Holiday from 1938. The role earned him considerable critical attention, including interest from MGM to put him under contract specifically for the role of Dr. James Kildare in an upcoming film series. Ayres played the role in 9 films from 1938 to 1942 and again in the 1950s radio series, while also appearing in light comedies from MGM, including Spy Madness and Rich Man, Poor Girl, both 1938, The Ice Follies of 1939, and Fingers at the Window, 1942. His final film as Dr. Kildare, Born to be Bad, was re-edited after he was drafted and declared himself a conscientious objector in March of 1942. He returned to acting in films The Dark Mirror, 1946, with Olivia de Havilland, and The Unfaithful in 1947 with Anne Sheridan. For the roles in Johnny Belinda, 1948, he received an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor, while co-star Jane Wyman won Best Actress. Ayres gradually moved to television, appearing in several anthology series and guest roles. In the summer of 1958, he hosted 11 original episodes of a CBS Western anthology television series called Frontier Justice, a production of Dick Powell's 4-Star Television. He was offered the part of Dr. Kildare in an NBC series, but his persistent request that the show have no cigarette advertisement led to the offer being withdrawn and the part going in 1961 to Richard Chamberlain. He appeared as the vice president in Advice and Consent in 1962 and in The Carpetbaggers in 1964, but he was by then primarily a television actor with only occasional film work. For a guest role in Kung Fu, The Vanishing Image of 1974, he was nominated for an Emmy. His documentary film, Attlers of the World, 1976, based on a series of documentaries he made titled Attlers of the East, 1956, brought his Eastern philosophical beliefs to the screen and earned him critical acclaim and a Golden Globe Award for Best Documentary in 1977. Ayres guest starred in an episode of The Bionic Woman, Doomsday is Tomorrow, 1977, as Dr. Elijah Cooper, an elderly nuclear scientist who attempts to blackmail the world into peace. In 1973, he played a similar role on Hawaii Five-0 as a nuclear scientist who, in a twist ending, ends up dying of radiation from his own bomb. In 1985, he was cast in his first series as a regular cast member as the father of Robert Wagner in the short-lived series Lime Street. His last role was in the made-for-TV film Heart to Heart, Crimes of the Heart, also starring Wagner. Personal life, Ayres was married 3 times, first to actress Lola Lane from 1931 until 1933, although they were separated much of that period. He met actress Ginger Rogers while starring in the film Don't Bet on Love in 1933, and they wed in 1934. They separated in 1936 and divorced in March of 1940. His third marriage to Diana Hall lasted from 1964 until his death in 1996. Their son Justin was born in 1968. Ayres was also a very strict vegetarian. In 1960, Lew Ayres was inducted into the Hollywood Walk of Fame with 2 stars. His motion picture star is located at 6385 Hollywood Boulevard, while his radio star is located at 1724 Vine Street. Ayres died on December 30th, 1996. His body was buried under a simple headstone at Westwood Memorial Park in Westwood, Los Angeles. The only information regarding what he passed away from is on IMDb, and it says it was complications from a coma. And now to read a little bit from this interview with Tobe Hooper that Tony Earnshaw did. It's called Primal Fear, an interview with Tobe Hooper, and the parts about Lew Ayres, specifically about directing him and the character he was playing. And the question that was proposed to Mr. Hooper was, what are your memories of Lew Ayres? And he said, Lew and I, first of all, didn't get along that well. Lew was a metaphysical thinker, and we would have long talks. I would say, yeah, that's what you do in this one, because it makes it real. But Lew would say, yeah, but is it real? This is fiction. This is a comic book. And I would say, no, it's more than that. That was the beginning of the relationship. Then I more or less started talking about All Quiet on the Western Front that had that kind of insanity in it. I saw the film late. I made the Texas Chainsaw Massacre first, and All Quiet on the Western Front has characters in it that are going absolutely nuts. They're stomping around and irrational. The more we talked about the movie, Lew understood me, the more I understood him. I did learn something from Lew because Lew came from early cinema. He wanted to be talked through everything. I think in one scene he's looking through a magnifying glass and he wanted me to tell him where to put the glass down, when to stand up, when to do this and that. That's when I truly appreciated the silent movie style of directing. It was just the demands and needs of a man that had a great deal of experience in the history of film shared with me, possibly harshly. The relationship between Lew Ayres and myself was probably one of the most learning moments in my career. Really, at the end of it all, Lew was fantastic. I was so lucky to get Lew Ayres. The next question from Mr. Earnshaw is, he had been a big star. Did he therefore demand a degree of personal interaction from you that perhaps the other cast members didn't? Hooper's response is, truly he did. In fact, there was a scene where he told me to get in his costume and do it myself. I triggered that and I knew he was an icon. I was also surrounded by icons in the cast. I treated him with the kind of respect he needed, and you know he deserved it. And that's why I love this book. You know, it does give you some insight into, you know, what was going on when this film was made, especially when dealing with some of these classically trained actors like James Mason and Lew Ayres. But yeah, it was interesting learning about Lew Ayres and just, you know, what kind of actor he was, a little bit about his history. It was something that, you know, I didn't know about. Again, much like, you know, some of these other actors that I know primarily from this film, I didn't see a lot of his work. I haven't seen any of the other things that he's done. I know him as Jason Burke. So getting a little bit of a perspective on the history of his career, you know, what kind of person he was, it really was interesting learning a lot more about this man that I, you know, really appreciate his acting style, what he brought to the role of Jason Burke. Like, again, you just believe him, much like Lance Kerwin's portrayal of Mark. You just really believe these men, that they're seeing these things and experiencing these things, and they're so unbelievable. You know, how do they convince others without them actually seeing it? And the helplessness that Jason Burke, you know, conveys when he's talking to Ben, when he's talking to Bill Norton, it really resonated with me. And I'm just grateful that, you know, Lew Ayres gave such a masterful performance in this amazing miniseries / movie that means so much to me. So yeah, that's going to be it. Like I said, I really hope I can get my other two done. I want to make the next two about James Mason and David Soul. I hope everyone still enjoys these quiet little tributes. I enjoy doing them, and I love learning more about these actors that mean so much to me, that brought these amazing characters to life. Let me know what you guys think about Lew Ayres' performance as Jason Burke in Salem's Lot. Let me know if you guys are still digging these quiet little tributes. I thank everyone for their time, and I hope everyone's doing well, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Take it easy, stay scared as always, and remember, you can do nothing against the master.
Hey, my fellow Fright Fiends, I just want to thank everyone for supporting Boogeyman Ben's Horror Zone. If you haven't yet subscribed and you'd like to, please hit the subscribe button down below. Click the bell notification so you're updated every time I drop a new video. I try to drop a video at least once or twice a week. The Horror Zone is a passion of mine, and it really makes me happy that I can share that passion with all of you guys. Thanks so much again for the support, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Take it easy. Stay scared as always. Peace.